Hello there and welcome to this video on the Nextbase dash cams. I've had these dash cams now for a couple of years, and just so you know, the 312 Nextbase is on the left hand side recording and the 512 Nextbase is on the right hand side. And done side by side, recording the same sort of thing, just so that you can see the difference in footage. And you can make your mind up at the same time which one you prefer, whether you think that one's better than the other one, and vice versa. So I've used these Nextbase ones for a couple of years, and the day at the moment is overcast, so there's no sun. If you're wondering, it's a dry day. It's a winter morning, and you can see clearly what's going on ahead of us. Now, if I just mention the footage, what I can see at the moment, the 512 is recording in 1440p and the 312 is recording is 1080p. So when I'm looking at the footage, there's a slight difference in clarity on the 512. It's a little bit more sharper, but even then the 312 is great footage. But because I'm going to upload it onto YouTube, you might not necessarily see the difference, because that'll be uploaded in 1080p. So we'll just talk about the footage ahead of us then, and what sort of things I can see. So there's if I look at the trees, the trees on the right look a little bit clearer than the footage on the left. But the colours on the right hand side are a little bit more brighter than the left ones. So the reds and the greens stand out a bit more. And the footage on the 312 on the left one looks a little bit not as bright, if I have to say it right. And but saying that, it's still very clear footage. I'm not trying to be biased about which one. I'm just trying to give you my honest opinion on both of them. They both do great, and there's pros and cons against both of them, which as the video goes on, you will realise there's a slight difference depending on the time of day. So, like I say, the 312 is a nice clear picture. The 512 one is just a little bit brighter, a little bit clearer, and I think that's the 1440 coming to the front at that point. It's also, just while we're talking about the difference in the camera, the 512 has got a polarizing filter on the front of it built in, where the 312 hasn't. Now, if you wanted to buy a polarizing filter, I'll put a link at the bottom. I think they're £15.95 at the moment, which you can get one to fit the 312 or the 212. So this bit of footage here, and I deliberately left this bit on because the sun's blasting down onto the windscreen at this point. And even though you've got a polarizing filter on the right hand side on the 512, it's still a little bit of reflection. But as the footage goes on around this road, the sun will move, obviously, as we move around, the sun goes to the side of the car and then to the back of the car, and you start to see the difference. But it's a nice, clear, sunny day. It's still in winter, but it's a clear, sunny day. And you can see there's a difference in colours. They're both nice colours, nice and bright. But if I have to compare the two colours, look at the grass greens. The 512 looks a little bit brighter. And like I say, the colours on the reds are slightly higher. But if we have to look at the sky on both of them, the 512 one looks like a blue sky, and the 312 looks like a sunny day. So there's a slight difference, but even then it's still great quality on both of them. I suppose it all depends on what you like to see on your recordings, because everyone has their own opinion on what they think looks good. You know, it's like when you buy a TV and you can alter the colour on it, same sort of thing. Just going back to the price, by the way, the price is on both cameras. So the 312 is retailing at the moment £90. I'll just look at you can see there we're pulled up, there's a car in front of us about 2 car lengths away, and you can see clearly both of the reg plates on both of them. I think the 512 looks a little bit clearer, the 312 is clear but not as sharp. And just going back to the price on the 512, that's retailing at £138. So I suppose whatever your budget is, I mean, if they feel expensive, you can look at other ones. But I'm just giving you a comparison of both cameras to see what the price range is, what the features are, and so on. So we're looking down here, and the sun's behind this point here, and they both look nice, clear pictures. There's nothing wrong with them. They're both definitely clear. You can definitely see what's going on. There's no distortion on I can see of anything. And just going through a couple of features that we've got on both cameras. So like I mentioned, the 312 records in 1080p and the 512 records in 1440. You can also record the 512 in 1080p if you wanted to. The screens on the dash cams, the 312 has got a 2.7 inch LCD screen, flat screen, and it's got buttons at the side you can press to go through the menu, and the 512 has got a 3 inch LCD screen, flat screen, which is a touch screen to go through the menu. So if we just look at this next footage here, which is the nighttime footage, and the 312's on the left and the 512's on the right still. And what I noticed here, which was a bit of a surprise, and I've never really thought about it before, that the 512 is slightly less clearer than the 312, and I think that's down to the polarizing filter. If I've given my honest thought on it, I think that's got to be the reason. Because if we look at this thing here, we pull it aside and look at the bikes, the 312 looks nice and crystal clear, and the 512 is clear, but there's a slight fuzziness to it. It's not as sharp. Now, when we're going through the road further on, you can see there's features like the lamps in the distance, the person walking across here. So the 312 definitely looks clearer than the 512. But like I say, I think that's because there's a polarizing filter over the top of it. But I might be wrong. I mean, I'm sure someone's going to put a comment and say, no, it's because of this. But it was interesting to see. A couple of things that the cameras have got. Now, both cameras have a 6-element glass lens, and both cameras have got parking modes. Both cameras, you can get an app for your smartphone, and you can also, both cameras got video playback software, and they've got GPS logging on both cameras. And you can also have miles per hour or kilometers per hour on the speed. So I suppose whatever you want to set it at. Now I've set mine at miles per hour, and you can see it on there saying 15 miles per hour on it. It's pretty good actually. You can set the date on it, set your time on it, and so on. And on the playback software, you can kind of track where you've been on the dash cam as well. So if we're looking ahead of us here, we can see what's going on with the evening. And the cars coming towards us. One looked a bit brighter, the headlights here, one didn't. And on the roundabout sign, the 312 looks a little bit clearer than the 512. But like I say, I'm not trying to make the 512 sound bad. I'm just saying what I can see. I think it's a polarizing filter makes things look a little bit not as crystal clear as it could be in the daytime. And then other things that you can put on here is it's got file protection. So if you wanted to save that file, you can click on the icon and it will save that file so you don't overwrite it. And it supports the 312 32 gigabytes maximum, and the 512 supports 64 gigabytes maximum. And this last bit of footage is just on the 512. It's got a time-lapse facility. You know, so if you wanted to play around with something like this, a little bit of fun, then that's one extra thing you can do. Also, I hope you liked the video, and feel free to put the comments. And if you like, you know, by all means share the video with friends. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to click on that subscribe. Safe driving, and be safe on the roads.